Hello and welcome back to JIL Training Solutions channel. If you're new, thank you for coming. Today we're going to talk about how to budget and put your budget into Excel. There are other softwares that's out there that does the same thing and actually have some of the logic that we're about to do manually, like Quicken and QuickBooks. I like both of the software. Quicken I've used for my personal financing. QuickBooks I've used for corporate financing only because it does taxes, it does invoices, and you can receive payments. So before you decide to go out and get a subscription to either or, I want to teach you what it is to make a budget and kind of give you some of those basic concepts, so when you do start using a software that does that logic, you understand how they were able to get to that number. And so I just want to do a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I have been budgeting ever since I was 15. My father taught me at that age. I used to budget our household bills. And so I'm kind of good at it. And I just kind of want to, not perfect, just good at it. And so I just kind of want to show people how to do that and to actually use Excel to get a picture of your income coming in, your expenses, and have an idea of what your net income is. This is important just because you should know anytime you get money in, you should manage it and budget it just like if it was a business. You don't wait until you get a business to try to determine and learn financial statements, net income. You need to learn that with your personal money. So if you get a W-2 coming in, you should manage that because it's your money. And so I'm going to teach you how to do those things. So what I like to do, I'm one of those instructors that like to have my students or my audience replicate what I'm doing at the time that I'm doing it. I do talk a little fast. I'll try to slow it down a little bit. So what I want you to do, if you don't already have Excel open, please open it. I'm using Microsoft Office 365. You can actually get a subscription to Microsoft Office 365. You can get a 90-day free subscription. You can also, if you're a student, you would get a discount. I think the regular rate is maybe $20 or something like that a month. It's a cool feature. I like it because even when Microsoft decides to come out with a new version, part of that subscription is that you get that new version. So we're going to input your income and your expenses. If you don't know what those actual numbers are, I want you to guesstimate at this time, and then once we're done, I want you to go back and plug those numbers in, listen to the video, make sure you have a clear understanding of your income and your expenses. So right now you're going to actually learn how to budget. I'm going to do some formatting and some formulas for you new Excel users, so you're going to get all of that in one. So I may stop to do some formatting, bolding some items, increasing, just so that the presentation looks good. And so we're going to start off with gross income, and your gross income is what you make before you pay anybody. This is what you earn. So let's just type in gross income, and then I'm going to bold it, and then I'm going to increase the font size to 16 just because I like the way that look. And then we're going to list the incomes. You may just have a W-2 form because you work for a company and that's all the income that you have. But here's a side note. If you only have one source of income, you have work to do. You need to have multiple incomes coming in. The reason why is, say for instance, if your company lays off and unexpectedly, and you don't know, and you depended on that one source of income, and now that's gone, you have zero. When you have streams of income, if you lose that income and you have another income coming in, and it may not be quite as much, but it's some coming in to kind of offset some of those non-discretionary expenses, and we'll talk about that in a second. But having streams of income, so if you do something, whatever you do that you do, regardless if you get paid for, try to profit off of it. Try to use that. Somebody may need that. If you're a good baker, bake and cater food. If you're a good organizer, there's people that need people to organize their homes. And so figure out what your niche is and get it and promote it and use it to bring you another source of income. And so I'm going to give you a budgeting that I did for myself. All right, so you have W-2, and so that's what you use when you you work for an employee, and then you have 1099. So if you have a side hustle, you bake cookies. I like baking cookies. I bake cookies, I sell cookies, and then I have a source of income coming from that. If you have real estate, so real estate is a good thing to get into. It's a passive income. You have a monthly cash flow that comes in from that. You don't have to do anything to get that in. That's a good investment. Dividends, if you have not got into stocks, that's a good source of passive income. The more you invest in stock, the more that dividends will be higher. You may get paid dividends monthly, quarterly, annually. It all depends on the payment schedule of this stock. And so you may say, hey, I don't know, what stock to buy into. Buy that thing that you know that you always buy. So for instance, I love Fiji water. I drink Fiji water. So I should invest in Fiji water because as a consumer, to me, it's a good product. So not only am I spending my money on this here product, but I'm also investing back into myself if I own the stock. So in stock, people think, oh, I need a whole lot of money. You don't. If you have $5 and the stock costs $5, you can buy one share. So you can buy stock with just $5. You can buy stocks with $1. So, but I want you to do research and some research and some research and some more research on investing. TD Ameritrade is a good institution. They provide workshops and seminars. Open up an account with them. They'll show you how to buy stock. So you need to get into investing into yourself by investing into stocks and real estate and just trying to get some streams of income and not depending on one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to align the text. So I'm going to go here and then I'm going to select right align so everything can be aligned together. And then I'm going to put, I'm going to right click this row, column 3, and then left click, and then I'm going to right click to insert a row because I want this here to be my monthly income and then I want this to be my annual. And so let's just say for this company I made $80,000 for W-2, and then for 1099 I brought in $25,000, and then my real estate I charge $2,000 a month, so I'm bringing in $24,000. I'm going to highlight this here because I want these fields to represent dollars, so I'm going to highlight that range and then left click on the dollar sign. Now I want to calculate the amount of money that I get monthly. So I'm going to say equal, which tells Excel like, hey, I'm about to enter in a formula, and so I'm going to say equal 80,000 divided by 12, and that's going to give me what I get paid monthly. And then I'm going to right click and copy this particular formula, and then I'm going to paste it. I'm going to highlight those areas, and then I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to paste, because then that pastes the formula for each one. And as you can see, this here says F5 divided by 12, and then this one's going to be F6 divided by 12. Now dividends is what I get for the stock that I've invested in. Now not all stock have dividends, but there are some that do. And so my total dividend is $50 a month. All right, so now let's see what our total income is. I'm going to highlight this here and put a bottom border. So if I click here and select bottom border, there you are, and then I'm going to go here on the monthly income, and then if you're on the ribbon bar, if you select home under editing, there's a icon that's a summation. You're going to click enter, and then that's the amount. Now what I want to do is copy that formula over to annual. Now what I want to do is I'm going to start using some shortcuts, because you can use your mouse by right clicking, but I'm going to use Control C to copy that amount. I'm going to move my arrow over once, and then I'm going to Control V to paste. Now as you notice, you can't see what the value is. Why? The reason why is because the width of that column is too short for the length of that value. So if I take my mouse up to here and I double click between the lines, it's going to expand that column so that I can see the value. So now my monthly income is $10,800. My annual is $129,000. Not bad, but this is gross. So now I need to see what expenses I have. So I'm going to come here to gross income, Control C, and then I'm come down here and I'm going to Control V to paste, and then I'm going to write pre-tax expenses. Now these are the expenses that you have to pay if you're working for a company before you get your check. And so those items will be your federal taxes, your state taxes, and here is Illinois, your Social Security taxes, Medicare. All right, so what I want you to do, if you haven't done already, look at your paycheck, and then I want you in this column, that one paycheck represent one one pay period, enter in your amounts. And for me, it's 418.13. My state is 141.38. My social Social Security is that's taken out is 186.78, and Medicare is $43.68. All right. So I want to again expand that column so that I can see the values, and then I want to enter those monthly amounts. Now I'm going to show you how to enter a formula. So I'm going to equal, and I'm going to take the amount here and I'm going to multiply it times 2 because I get paid twice a month. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to say Control C because I want to copy that formula, and then I want to paste it and apply it to the other taxes. And as you see, it calculated the amount of money that's taken out of my tax on a monthly basis. Now let's highlight these columns because I want to apply the currency so that it looks in, you see the money symbol. And now these are all now if you get paid a 401k, my company doesn't do 401k, so if you put in 401k, then you would actually see the amount of money. You would put your 401k so you can add that to it. So in this scenario that I'm doing, the company doesn't pay the 401k. All right, so then I'm going to take and put a border just for presentation. And then I'm going to go in column E, and I want to right here I want to say my total pre-tax. So I know that's my total pre-tax expenses. Then I'm going to come over to column G, and then I want to sum that up. So I'm going to click on that summation again, and I'm going to take my mouse, left click, and drag all of my pre-tax expenses and hit enter. And so my total expenses is listed there. And now I want to add, and this here is after, well, I'm going to come to pre-tax, Control C, and then I'm going to come down to row 18, Control V. What I want to do is copy the format, and then I can come and then I can say after tax expenses. And for me, because I have real estate, I want to take money out as soon as I get the rent and allocate it. And it's called, for me, it's my real estate income taxes, because this is a source of income, and I got to pay Uncle Sam, and pay him before you pay anybody, well, outside of God. You want to pay your income taxes so that you want to put money aside so that when it's time to pay your income tax, you already have the money. If you don't have to pay, then you take that money and invest it in somewhere else, but you've already allocated. Now what I didn't suggest say, and I did naturally, is I double clicked again to expand this column. All right, so for me, I like to take 1%, so I'm going to say equal, and this is my rent amount multiplied by 0.01, and so I'm sorry, 1%, 10%. And so this is how much money that I like to take out so that I can allocate towards my income tax when it's time to pay taxes. And so I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to highlight that range and put a border so that's consistent with the pre-tax layout. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to say total tax, after tax. So that's my total after tax. And then I'm going to do a summation. Now it's only one, and I could have just wrote it in. Actually, I don't want to put it here. So I want to cut this here and move it somewhere else. So I'm going to go into this cell here, 200. I'm going to hit the control, hold down the control button and hit the letter X, and that tells Excel that I want to cut. And then I'm going to come over here to column G, Control V, and then it's going to paste the information. So now I have my pre-tax expenses and my after-tax expenses. All right, now I want to know what my total tax expenses is. So I'm going to take this header, I'm going to do a Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to type total tax expenses. All right, and so let's calculate that. And I do that, I'm in column E, as you can tell, right? And this is column E. I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to click on the summation, and I'm going to go all the way to the first pre-tax and bring it down, and then I'm going to hit enter. And so my total pre-tax is $1,779.94. So now let's copy this header and put it here. Now what I want to know is, what is my sub-net income? Like, I got my gross income, and I know it's $10,000, but now I have to pay Uncle Sam and put the money away for income taxes for my real estate. So now how much money do I have? So I'm going to say equal my gross income minus my total tax expenses. And so now I have $9,020.06 to spend on discretionary and non-discretionary expenses. And you say, what is that? So first let me correct this because I'm a little anal. So that's income is spelled wrong. So I'm going to click in this cell, click in the bar, backspace, delete that E. All right, so non-discretionary expenses are expenses that you have to pay. You have to pay your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes, your light, your gas, your water. Those are expenses that you need to pay. There's non-discretionary. Got to do it. My discretionary expenses would be my coffee habit. I like to go out, entertainment. I like to get my hair done. So those are things that I don't have to do, but I like to do. And so those are discretionary things. But if I lose my job, I can not do those things and it doesn't matter. But my non-discretionary things, I still have to pay my lights regardless if I have income or not, or I won't have lights. All right. So now let's enter in. I'm going to copy again that Control C, and then I'm Control V, and I'm going to type in non-discretionary, and then I'm going to enter in my non-discretionary expenses. And my non-discretionary expenses would be primary mortgage. It would be my property taxes, my property insurance. It would be my lights, my gas, my water, Comcast. Even though some would debate if Comcast is a discretionary and non-discretionary, but I'm going to put it on here because I need the internet. Otherwise, I can't upload my YouTube videos. Okay, and then my fuel for my car because I need to drive. All right. So now I want to get the monthly calculations for these. Now, for the people that your mortgage company actually pay your taxes and your insurance, you can apply all of that on the primary mortgages. For you individuals that actually pay your own taxes and insurance, I know you're saying, I don't pay it monthly. Yeah, you don't pay it monthly, but you should be allocating it monthly, accruing that money, putting it to the side. So when it's time to pay your mortgage insurance, you just write out a check. When it's time to pay your property taxes, whichever installment, you just write out a check. It is not a burden to you because you've already put the money to the side. So for my taxes, $1,100 annually. My property tax total, which both first and second installment, is $5,000. I live in Illinois, so you know it's a little expensive. And so then I'm gonna highlight those columns, and then I'm going to convert those to dollars just for formatting purposes. So my primary mortgage is $2,000. My taxes, I'm going to calculate the monthly calculation. So I'm going to say equal, take what I pay annually and divide it by 12. That's simple. I'm going to do the same thing for my property taxes, equal the total divided by 12, and that's what I pay. I should be allocating and putting into account monthly. Now, my lights are $25, $100 for gas. My water bill is paid every quarter, so I know it's like $60 times 3, and that's 4 times a year, and so that's what I pay annually on water. I'm going to format it correctly, and so monthly I'm going to say equal this divided by 12. And I know some people say, why you just didn't put $60? Because if I put it in this calculation, and if the water rate changes, I can calculate it in that, and I don't have to actually mess with my monthly formulas. All right, my Comcast is $89. Might want to look at that because that's seems kind of expensive. Grocery is $250, and then I need to put gas in my vehicle, and that's $160. Let's format that so that it looks consistent and with the other values. All right, so those are my non-discretionary for my primary living. All right, so let me just put a border, bottom border, and then let's calculate that. So I'm going to be in column G, row 37. I'm going to select on the summation, and then I'm going to take this here, and then I'm going to highlight it, enter. So my total non-discretionary is $3,192.33. Now, remember, I have real estate, so that's also a non-discretionary. I still got to pay the mortgage and property taxes on that. So what I'm going to do is to make it simple, because these are some of the same, these titles are the same. So I'm going to highlight that, Control C, and then I'm going to bring it down here, Control V, and then I'm just going to go in here and just say secondary mortgage. All right, and then the amounts are kind of the same, and so I can just copy that. I'm going to copy that here. Right, bam, and then I'm going to do the calculations here. So my secondary mortgage is $1,000, and then I'm going to calculate my property taxes the same way I did above there, and then I'm going to say this divided by 12, and then I have this divided by 12. All right, and then I have a reserve, so I like to put some money aside just in case something happens. When you have rental property, you know, sometimes the unexpected happens, and so with here I like to put 10%. And so I'm going to go up here and say my rental income is 2,000 multiplied by 0.10, and so that's $200. And then what I want to do is I'm going to format it, put a border there, and then I'm going to come here and then I'm going to calculate that. And here, all right, so that's $1,708.33 is my my secondary non-discretionary expense. And now I want to know what is my total discretionary expenses. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sum up these values. So I'm going to come here, summation, and then I'm going to highlight all of this. And so $4,967 is my total non-discretionary for my primary living and my secondary property. So I'm going to come to non-discretionary, Control C, copy, come down here, Control V, and now what I want to do is go to this formula bar, delete none, and now I have discretionary. Now my discretionary, as I mentioned before, are the things that I don't have to have, but I actually want. All right, so like my coffee, don't judge me. All right, I need my coffee. All right, then I have my entertainment. So if you'd like to go out, go to the show, you need to be putting money aside for that. Savings, if you're not saving, shame on you. You need to start doing it. RA, even if you have a 401k, you can have an RA account. It's a retirement account. You can do a retirement Roth, traditional, or Roth. Contact TD Ameritrade. They're very good at workshops and seminars, as I mentioned before, and they would teach you how to invest. They have these accounts. I love them. I've been with them for years. So try them out. And then investment stock, as I mentioned before, you should be investing something monthly into an investment to stocks. And then pocket money. I need money to get my hair done, massages, and then miscellaneous money for, you know, things just happen, life. All right, so I spent $100 on coffee. I know that's expensive, but I need it. Entertainment, $100. So for my savings, what I like to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to look at my sub net income. And what I want to do is multiply that by 10%, right? Because that's how much money I want to put aside for my savings. And then I want to go into this formula and I want to put the dollar sign so that when I copy this formula down, it won't change the cell that I want to look at, and that's my gross income. So I'm going to copy, paste, because I put 10% away monthly for my RA, and then I'm going to copy for stock. I'm going to copy for Control C, paste for stock, but stock I don't put 10%. I only put 5% right now, and that's what I can afford. And then pocket money, I'm going to go in here and change that to 15% because that's how much I set aside for myself, and that's not including my coffee and my entertainment, but this is just miscellaneous things that I want to do. And then miscellaneous, I do 2%. So I'm going to go back up here to my well, I could have just copied the formula, but I'm here now. So I'm going to go here and then I'm going to say multiply times 0.02, and then that's going to give me $180 that I put aside just in case, you know, you get a flat or something happen, right? So now I have my total discretionary amount and I want to sum it up. All right, so it's $3,988. I want to format that into dollar signs, so there you go. All right, so now I know what how much is being taken out for taxes, my non-discretionary amount, and my discretionary amount. So what does this mean? All right, so let's get a better picture. So what this tells me is that my total expense equals my discretionary plus my non-discretionary. So click on that, and then plus, and then go all the way up to your your total tax expenses. And so the total amount of money that I have coming out is $10,669.03. So what is my total income? My total income, my total gross income, because remember there's a difference. This is the money that I make before anybody take a dime from it. This is what I actually earn, and that's going to be $10,800. So now what I want to know is, what is my net income? After I pay everything off, what do I have? Or after I allocate, because remember, in my total expenses, I'm contributing money to savings and RA and investments. So it's not expenses as though I owe a company. These are stuff that I'm paying myself. I owe myself. So they're in essence an expense because I'm paying, I'm contributing this to myself. And so I want to know what my net income is. And I take how the formula is, I'm going to say equal, and I'm going to say take my gross and then subtract it from my total expense. And so $130.97 is how much I have after I've allocated everything, as I've allocated all my expenses. All right, so what is my debt ratio? So debt ratio can be calculated by saying give me the total expense, and then divide that by my total income. And so and I'm going to convert this by coming to percentage and then making that a percentage amount. Okay, and so it's 99%, right? So this is the type. Oh, I made a typo, so let me come here and fix it. So this is the total amount of money that I have allocated for my income. So now what I want to do and give you a better picture of what's going on. You know what? First I want to do is show you your mortgage. So you have a mortgage debt ratio, and this is what the bank look at. So in my debt ratio, I'm giving you discretionary. When the bank is calculating, seeing how much you can afford to buy, they're only looking at your non-discretionary funds, right? So I'm going to say take my total non-discretionary and then divide that by my gross income, and then let's make that a percentage, and then that is my buying power. So 45%, well, not my buying power, 45% is what of my debt, the total amount, the percentage amount of money that's coming out towards expenses. Now, depending on what type of loan you're getting, it's a conventional loan or it's a VA loan, the percentage amount that they'll allow you to have varies. Some say 50%. Okay, so you can have your debt ratio at the worst case scenario can be 50%, which means I only have 5% to allocate it for a loan. So if you say take my gross of the $10,800 and you multiply that time 5%, that means I can only get a mortgage for $540, which means I can't buy another piece of property right now. So what do I need to do? All right, so let me just kind of look over my expenses and see what's going on. I'm going to come all the way up to the top to my first pre-tax expenses, and then what I'm going to do is I want to know how much I'm going out, what is the percentage each item to my gross income. So I'm going to say equal, take my federal taxes and divide it by my gross income, and it tells me that it's converted to percentages. 8% is going towards federal taxes. So I'm going to come into this formula bar and I'm going to change $sign so that when I copy this formula, it won't change. It won't go over a column or down a row. It's going to stay at my gross amount. So I'm going to say copy, Control C, and then Control Home because I just messed up. And then I'm going to highlight and Control V. What am I doing here? I'm going to do Alt backspace because I made a mistake. Anytime you make a mistake, do Alt backspace or come up here and do undo. All right, so now I'm going to say Control C, and then I'm going to highlight Control V. Let's see what I did wrong. So, oh, nope, I should be saying here divided by my gross. There you go. And then I want to come here and I want to say E8 is the field that I don't want to change. Copy, and then now I want to paste. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing for my income tax. I'm come down to all of my discretionary. I'm going to hold down the shift key and move the arrow to highlight it. Then I'm going to hit Control V to paste, and then I'm going to come down and then I'm going to highlight this area, Control V to paste, and then I'm going to highlight all of my discretionary, Control V, paste, and then I'm going to come down to my net here. Now I want to sum up because this should equal, I want to make sure it doesn't go over 100%. If it goes over 100%, I'm doing something wrong. So I'm going to click the summation, and then I'm going to hold the shift and I'm going to move the arrow, the up arrow all the way up to the first, to my federal taxes, and I'm going to hit N, and it's 99% of my income is allocated towards something, and then 1% is not because it's not allocated toward anything, so this is what I have left over. And then I just want to equal that. I want to add that up, so make sure it equals 100%. Equal that plus, and then I'm going to go here, 100%. So now I do know that I have $540 that I can actually purchase or get a loan on something, but it's not enough to get real estate. So I want to kind of look and see what's going on with my numbers. So the pre-tax stuff, there's nothing I can do about that. It is what it is. Uncle Sam has the rate based on how much money I make. My primary mortgage is 19%. That's high, especially because it's just a house and there's no income coming in. So I might want to rethink that. Maybe I'll sell a house, get a 2-flat, live in that, and bring some more income in. And what that'll do is it'll increase my gross income, which was the $10,800, and then it would decrease my debt ratio that was 45%, and therefore increasing my buying power. And so those are things you need to look at. Look over your, after this video, plug in the numbers, look over it, try to get a picture of where you at and what you need to adjust to put you in a situation so that you can do more investing and you can invest more in yourself. If you need to bring in more sources of income, you need to do that. Again, if you like this channel, you like this video, please like it right now. I'll take a second. And then also subscribe to my channel. That little red button, press that to subscribe. If I went too fast, leave something in the comment that I missed, and I'll do another video. If you want me to elaborate on something else, please leave it in the comment, and I'll respond and try to get another video to go more into details to anything that you want me to cover. Continue to look at my channel. I'm doing a lot of videos on Excel. Excel you can use not only on your personal level but in your company. So again, thank you for listening to the JIL training solution, and I hope this tutorial helped you. Thank you.